Hey, it's Adam here. I've got a tutorial today that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to break down how to sound like Prince inside the box. I'm a huge Prince fan, as you can see, so this was a huge amount of fun for me to do. I'm going to go through a little 1-minute groove that I've made, some of the plugins I've used, some of the techniques I've used, and we'll jump into it track by track and go through exactly how I did it. So first up, we started with the drums, and of course we're talking Prince, so of course we are talking the Lindrum. There's plenty of plugins that can emulate the Lindrum, the LM1. This is absolutely my favourite by Ali James Lab. It's super accurate in the way that it pitches samples and things, and we're going to be wanting to do a lot of tuning of these drums to get that cool sound. You can also just use samples as well, but for me is super accurate. So I've programmed in a little MIDI beat here. Let's have a little look at that. Super simple. It's not even swung, it's not played in. I've just literally drawn in those notes. Let's have a little listen to the beat on its own to start with. So you can see the plugin firing away there. We've got just a kick drum, play with some hi-hats, and we've got a clap which is tuned down quite a way. So the normal tuning, you can use the tune knobs up here. The normal tuning is about here. Sounds more like a standard clap. Prince loved to tune these things down. So that's tuned down quite a lot. That's coming on the 4th beat of the bar, and I've also thrown in a little offbeat rim shot in there. Again, tuned down quite far. So normal LM1 rim shot in normal tuning is this. Sounds like a rim shot, actually quite a realistic sounding rim shot. To get that classic, iconic Prince sound, tune it down quite a lot. He sometimes went quite extreme with it. Not that extreme. We're going for about there. Yeah, that's in loads of Prince tracks. And these are techniques he used in the 80s, but also throughout his career. So that's the Lindrum beat. Nice and heavy. No processing on that at the moment. I've got these drums grouped together with some processing on. We'll get to that in a second. Next, I threw on some just bongos, just percussion. That's just using one of the built-in Ableton percussion things. Any kind of bongo samples will do. Just play with the velocity a bit. I've beefed that up with a dry session kit, so a real drum kit. Of course, he mixed real instruments with all the electronics and stuff as well. I like to do that for the cymbals and some hi-hats as well. Sometimes the drum machine hi-hats can just be a bit harsh, so this softens it up a bit. On its own, it sounds like this. So just using the hi-hats and some cymbals and a snare, not using a kick drum from that. All the drums together sound like this. We've got some processing on here. I've just got a little bit of saturation, a compression plugin. This is from Native Instruments, I believe, and a little bit of ambience, again, Native Instruments, realm, reverb. So all together, the drums are sounding like this. Cool. Next, we want to keep that groove going, and we want to add in some bass. Now, I've gone for a real bass here. Obviously, Prince would play in real instruments. I don't have access to a bass, and also we're trying to do this more in the box. So I've gone for a bass plugin. This is an Ableton pack, which I believe comes with Suite, which I downloaded. It's quite nice because you've got access to, let me just get it on the right channel. You've got access to some velocity layers there, so the really low velocity notes is a nice little dead note, and then the high velocity, you get that slap, which is obviously a lovely part of the funk. So what I've done is programmed in a little rhythm here, a little MIDI clip. So I've been quite careful with the velocities of the notes. the length of the notes, just to humanize that up. I did play it in and I tweaked the MIDI quite a lot and tightened it up just to get it really tight and funky. We're not going for kind of swingy, loose, we're going quite robotic funk. But still, not everything's exactly on the beat. So the bass line on its own sounds like this, if I can find the right one. So I've run that through one of Ableton's amp, just the bass preset. And I've got a little supercharger on here, which is a Native Instruments, quite a colourful compressor. So it gives it a little bit of fuzz and just brings up those quieter notes. Again, it would be more ideal with a real bass and an excellent bass player. I don't have access to either of those, but we can get away with that for now. So let's listen to drums and bass together. Nice. I added into that just a little synth bass stab just on the first note every 2 bars, which just sounds like this. Not that exciting, but it goes quite nicely with the rest of it. So I've just put some automation on the cutoff frequency on that synth. You can see there. I've just drawn that in. I probably should have recorded that in with a controller, but humanize it a little bit more and put some more variation in it. But that is fine for now, just for that little stab. So that is done with the OBXD, which is an excellent emulation plugin. Prince uses a lot of Oberheim synths, and this is a free plugin, and it's awesome. There's loads of presets in there. It's super easy to use. I use it a lot. It's really cool. I just loaded up a bass preset, tweaked it a little bit. I quite often mess with the amp and filter envelopes, but yeah, keeping it super simple. And that goes with the rest of it a little bit like this. Cool. Next, I added another synth. I'm going to be using this plugin a lot. So we've got some Synth Brass. So these are some funky stabs essentially, and this is basically emulating a kind of horn section, but using a synthesizer. Again, this is the OBXD, just a brass preset, which I increased the attack on a bit, so it's super punchy. And I've gone for some recording in there. This, let me just arm that. Let's see if I can remember what chord I played. So the song's in E. It's basically an E minor chord with a D in the bass, which I think makes it a 9th chord. I should probably check that. Keeping that super funky. Moving that chord down. It's basically a 2-chord song. It's a funk groove, so we can keep things super simple. It's just about those getting the rhythm of it and those little staccato notes and everything finding its place. So that's got, I've sent that to my reverb bus. The reverb I'm using is Realm again, which I really like. So yeah, that's got some nice atmosphere to it. The sound is super simple. It's not some hugely evolving wavetable thing. It's just a super simple brass pad. It's basically how you play it, getting those rhythms in there, those staccato notes. Let's add that into the rest of our groove and it should fit nicely. You can see here I've added in a little bit of modulation on the mod wheel. So on that longer note, you should get a bit of that vibrato in there. I like to have the modulation wheel set to the vibrato and the pitch bend. It's just super expressive. Let's see if you can hear that. Get that little wobble on the long note. Just extra funky. I added in a synth lead, again from the OBXD. Let's see what sort of sound I've used here. Again, a real brassy sound. I think it's super 80s, super basic synth sound, and that just accents a little bit in between those synth stabs. A little bit of a hook. Again, being careful with the length of the notes. That's super important to make it funk properly. So we've got a kind of nice backing track there. Sounded good, sounded very Minneapolis, but it wouldn't be Prince without some guitars, which I have recorded here. I'm not going to get too deep into the guitar stuff. Basically, it's a Strat kind of sounding guitar. It's not actually a Strat in a neck position. I recorded some takes, which I've heavily edited here, as you can see. And what I like to do is group those together and pan one hard left and hard right. It gives it just a big, chunky sound. And I've played a kind of simple riff, again, fitting in around those synths and those other elements, kind of everything taking its turn, almost a call and response type thing. On their own, they sound like this. Not bad. So on each channel I've got just a tuner, but then the Waves guitar amp, which I really like, just on a clean preset. This is going straight into my audio interface, no outboard gear, and then it's just into this plugin. Simple, quite upfront. There's a little bit of reverb send on these, I think. Oh no, there's not actually, because on the group I've put this Jjp plugin. These are kind of all-in-one plugins. You'll see another one I use on the vocals later. They look like a 90s Winamp skin, but they sound amazing. This is just a clean guitar preset, so you can turn on things like warmth and change the highs and lows. There's kind of everything you need to do guitars there, and it's super fast. When you're kind of composing and you're in that zone, you just want something you can throw on quickly and get a decent sound out of. Maybe come back later and tweak that and put some nicer presets on, but honestly they sound great. So that's before that plugin, the guitar sounded like this. Let's turn that off. And then with the Jjp on. So yeah, punching up the highs a bit, taking the lows out a little bit, and some reverb. So I've got two different takes playing, one in each ear, which gives it a really nice sound, and it's quite high in the mix, and that's going to give us a really nice groove altogether. Alright, I have my groove down. You don't want to add too much to it. You're just going to muddy up the groove and kind of lose some of it. So if you listen to a lot of 80s Prince songs, there's not much going on. There's not huge loads and loads of layers and loads of instruments. On some of the tracks there is, but on these funk grooves, they're super stripped back and super simple. What I did do was get a bit carried away and write some lyrics and record some vocals, which we're going to look at now. So I've recorded in one channel of like a lead vocal. Just put a gate on that. It's a bit noisy in my room. And this is the Jjp Vocal plugin. It works the same way in the guitar one. So I recorded in some lead vocals, and then I recorded in a load of ad-libs and kind of Prince style backing vocals. It's quite silly, and it's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, we'll see how that sounds right now.
I wanna take a bath with you. If you want me to, I wanna take a bath with you. If you want me to, I wanna take a bath with you.
Yeah, a song about taking a bath, which Prince was obsessed with. So those, yeah, not too much going on in the way of processing. Little bit of reverb, probably a bit too much. A lot of those vocals were quite dry and up front, but you've got to be quite brave to get away with that. I also recorded some Prince-style backing vocals, which I have recorded in a load of ad-libs and things and different takes, edited them up, and grouped them together. So there's 4 channels here. They're not always playing at the same time. And then on the backing vocals, I've added another Jjp, treated a little bit differently. So all together, let's listen to the vocals just on their own with the backing vocals.
With you, if you want me to, I wanna take a bath with you. Ooh. If you want me to, I wanna take a bath with you. If you want me to, ooh, I wanna take a bath with you. Yeah, if you want me to, get going.
That is my attempt at being Prince. It's hey, it's not as good, but you get what I'm trying to do. Yeah, super simple processing on that and on everything really. And for the mastering, I've just done some real simple stuff. I've put on this really nice Waves J37 tape emulator, try and make it sound a bit vintage. And then I've chucked it through a preset, basically a modern pop preset on Ozone Elements, just to be quick and get a decent sound out of it straight away. And just a Pro L limiter just to knock down any of those peaks. So there's only real thing you've got left to do now is to we'll take a listen to the whole thing. I might try and rip a massive guitar solo over it, and then you stick it in the vault for years and never release it, and you're Prince.